I'm very glad that you invited me because the topic of archives is utterly important for all of you, not only for Slovenia but for the European Union and for those countries not yet members of the European Union, and also for the work of the platform of European Memory and Conscience, where I am president. We have tried to set up a small panel of lawyers. We don't have very much funding in the platform yet, but we have set up a panel of lawyers, and they are working with the possibility of bringing perpetrators to court, take them to justice, to give some compensation to the victims, if not in money, at least in moral restitution. And in order to do that, we need to have the facts. And the facts are in the archives in all the countries that were under totalitarian regime. It goes, of course, for all the communist countries as well as for those that had a Nazi regime. I often get the question, do I compare these two totalitarian terror regimes? I say no, because you can judge each and every one after their own deeds. And this is important. Up until today, because today I read in several newspapers that a lot of the far left in Europe are now supporting the opinions of Jean-Marie Le Pen and the Le Pen party. So the far right are coming close to the far left, which I didn't really think would happen. But if you look at what they stand for, it's the same idea, nationalistic, looking very much inward, building up not a real welfare state, but a state where the government controls everything and people get alimonies. And this is a bad situation. So the archives are also important for dealing with today's present political issues. To have the understanding. Russia have not dealt with that. In Russia, most of the archives have been closed from the very beginning. And people who have been allowed to go into archives, they can only have access to some information. I visited an archive in Moscow when I did the report to the Council of Europe. And there on the wall in this big room with people sitting at the computers, there are two big pictures of Marx and Lenin looking down at the poor people. They would be like in Berlin in the Nazi archives, having Himmler and Goebbels looking down at the people, and that would not happen. So history is very important, and the absence of history also explains the situation in Ukraine today, or actually the situation in Russia trying to grab big parts of Ukraine. It's also a lack of historical knowledge and historical understanding. So what you are doing here, having this referendum and doing the lobby work in order to get people to vote and to vote for open archives is utterly important. And I'm ready to take many discussions here or anywhere in Europe on this issue. I mentioned it already in my report in 2006, how important it is to have open and accessible archives everywhere.